Yo, what is up YouTube? Today we are joined by my wonderful friend Faiz.
Hello guys, what's up?
As some of you guys heard, we joined the first Series A tournament, the first big tournament, which was the X9 League tournament. And we didn't know about the meta so far. Obviously, everyone had their own tier lists. We knew that Kyogre was going to be good, but other than that, like, nothing was too sure. So we just blindly tried to build something and try to counter most of the things we thought would be popular in the tournament. And yeah, we were successfully able to do what we tried to do. Faiz finished as a second place and I finished as third place. And yeah, I think we could just check the team immediately without talking too much. Here we have the team. Yeah, like Faiz, you can actually tell how we started to come around with this idea. Obviously, you guys know that I'm a big Lapras fan. I had my biggest success with the Lapras team, which was also light clay, so I was really pumped to test it out again. And yeah, Faiz came to me and was like, yeah, dude, I think Lapras Zacian is pretty strong. And I immediately agreed with him.
Yeah, so basically, like, first of all, I have to give credits to Raghav, Moody Man. Most of you probably know him. I played him on the ladder at some point, and he had Swords and Zacian, and he completely destroyed me. And I thought that was a really cool set, and I said to Fevzi, dude, we gotta build Swords and Zacian. Yeah, that's how we started the team.
Let's start with Lapras. So I think what the most important thing is about this Lapras is it is obviously bulky, but it also does a lot of damage. Like, there are some instances running around, like they are impish. Yeah. So they're impish to take, I don't know, something like P-Blades, and if they have that Calc, they don't survive this Lapras Max Geyser. So this is still a strong Lapras. It's enough to bring Amoongusses to their Sash if they are holding a Sash, most of the time if they have not a lot of bulk and special defense. And like, we wanted to be faster than most of the instants running around. You can check that on Pigalytics as well to see how fast people are playing their instants, because ideally what you don't want to happen is that opposing instants parting shot before you get your max move off, because obviously you won't do as much damage. Yeah, this is why we opted with a 93 speed, because we thought that most of the instants will just be like 91 speed, because that enables you to outspeed max speed Amoonguss. But yeah, I have to say I was pretty surprised that many instances that I faced actually outsped my Lapras, which was obviously not super good. Faiz, do you remember any specific calcs this Lapras takes?
Yeah, well, so as you said, we wanted to go with a 93 speed. So yeah, you need 100 EVs for that. The 196 EVs in special attack give you an extra stat point because of the nature, and then the rest just went into the bulk.
Awesome.
There's nothing specific to be calced against.
Yeah.
Because like it was so early meta, and with double intimidate on the team and Lapras setting up screens itself, I didn't think it was necessary to calc for something specific. So yeah, we just went with the overall bulk.
So guys, now we come to Zacian, which was MVP of the team. Obviously, huge shoutouts to Raghav for destroying you this set and giving us something to work with. So yeah, like, I'm gonna talk about my experience with this Zacian. Obviously, It's really bulky. You guys can see it's max HP. It's adamant. It's not as fast as most of the Zacians because we wanted it to be bulky and just hit hard, but at the same time survive stuff. And we didn't care too much about the speed stat because we had redirection, we had double intimidate, so we were not afraid of opposing Zacians that could possibly hurt us. We set screens with Lapras. Zacian will be behind light screen and reflect for 8 turns, and no matter what they do, we can easily set up a sword stance, and with the help of Amoonguss or Incin, which provides us fake out support, we were just able to destroy teams. Like, that is my raw experience. Like, many teams that I faced had a lot of trouble to deal with this Zacian.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've had games where I've been just stalling out the opponent's Dynamax, maybe losing 1 or 2 mons in the process, but in the end, I'm in a position where I can set up my Zacian and like just reverse sweep the opponent. The bulk was really, really good paired together with Incineroar and Amoonguss. Yeah, definitely the best mod on this team.
The thing is, like in my streams, you probably notice as well because you're around a lot. Like people were asking me what the best Zacian moveset is, and I kept telling them that I think Substitute is so busted. But that was because I didn't know it learns sword stance. Obviously, it's holding a sword in its mouth. It has a sword item. Even its ability has something with the sword. So I should know, but yeah, I felt like Substitute was so big because I used Substitute in the first series. Not, it wasn't Series 8, it was the Wolfie's GS Cup tournament, where I also used Zacian with Ho-Oh, and I had Substitute. And I had an amazing experience with that because like it lets you stall out Dynamax turns. Once you're behind a sub, you won't get intimidated anymore, so you keep your +1 boost. But yeah, like when you came to me with Sword Stance and Sacred Sword, the most important thing about Sacred Sword is it obviously learns close combat as well, but we had a feeling that Dialga is huge right now. Like we played some games on the ladder and like people were spamming Dialga because it has an amazing matchup against actually every single Kyogre team. And like what Dialga teams like to do is they go for Steel Spikes early. I don't know. If they get 3 Steel Spikes off next to a partner like P2 or Dusclops or even other Pokemon, it's really impossible to break through them with a close combat. But Sacred Sword allows you to ignore stage changes. So, like when I faced Dialga in Swiss or in Cut, I was just super happy to see a Dialga because I knew that I would have to do a lot of things wrong to lose this game.
Yeah, exactly. Sacred Sword was really clutch in those Dialga matchups because, yeah, you can just ignore Steel Spike boosts and boost yourself even further with Sword Stance. Yeah, they didn't really stand a chance.
So yeah, like EV-wise, I think we wanted to survive Water Spout from Mystic Water Kyogre without Veil.
Yes, exactly. You survived that. In Rain even from Modest Kyogre.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah. Initially, we even had a bulkier spread with less attack, but I figured out, like, we have Aurora Whale anyways. Yeah, we don't need that much bulk, so we dumped the rest into attack, which also gives us an extra stat point. And more importantly, at +2, for instance, if you set up a Sword Stance and get intimidated once, you still wanted KO G-Max Lapras behind Aurora Whale.
Crazy.
Which I thought was important because, I don't know, it was an early meta tournament and I wanted to have outs versus pretty much everything that we could face, and yeah, getting that KO was really clutch in my top 4 match, for instance, where I played against Desu, and where this exact thing happened. In the end, I managed to advance the finals, so I guess that was the right call to make.
And yeah, like speed-wise, we just wanted to outspeed Thunderous, which hits 179 max speed. And yeah, like we didn't need to go for any other benchmark. I think Thunderous was the optimal benchmark to hit.
I think one thing we could have done was maybe outspeed Spectre. I know that some other Lapras players, like Raghav himself or Alex Underhill and Justin Burns, they both had a Zacian that outspeeds Spectre, just so you don't get Will-O-Wisped, which is fair. It's a good benchmark to hit, but we just went with this one. So I think the 180 benchmark is fine enough for what we were trying to do and how we were going to play the team and possibly like approach the Spectre matchup.
So we had those 2 Pokemon, and then obviously we felt like Incin is one of the best Pokemon, maybe even the best right now. Like I feel so safe when I use Incin. Like nothing too crazy here. We want to, I think that was to survive close combat from Zacian at neutral.
Yeah.
If you look at our Lapras speed, it's 93, so we don't want to make Skyzer and then go for a Flare Blitz and stuff like that. So we Parting Shot first, or we Flare Blitz first, we Taunt first, and then Lapras gets to attack. Yeah, this instance is just super speedy because we wanted to outspeed most other instances as well. It has Taunt to stop something like a Spore from Amoonguss if we can't bring Koko, stop Trick Room, stop Eerie Impulse, everything actually that is not an attack move. Also, you could prevent other instances from switching out if you taunt their instance, so they can't go for a Parting Shot. So I think nothing too crazy on this instance, just your standard good cat.
Yeah, I think it's just the right set for this team. Taunt and Parting Shot offer great utility, increase the bulk, and yeah, it doesn't destroy, but like it annoys the opponent with Taunt and Parting Shot, so they can't do what they originally planning to do. It's just a good mod.
So now we have Amoonguss. That was another amazing member. I feel like those 4 or even those 5 were so amazing.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
this Amoonguss, we were not trying to do something too fancy. There's one thing fancy about the speed. The thing is, some people are running max speed Amoonguss, right? Like with 90 speed. And like let's say we lead something like Landorus and Amoonguss into an opposing max speed Amoonguss, and if we go for Airstream, we won't be able to KO the Amoonguss before it does anything because it will still outspeed us. So we wanted to make sure that we outspeed max speed Amoonguss, which hits 90 speed at +1 if we boost our Amoonguss with an Airstream. And on top of that, we also wanted to outspeed most of the Incin as well. Like let's say we just go with a 61 speed stat, and if we multiply that by 1.5, I think we would probably speed tie with a lot of Incins that only try to outspeed max speed Amoonguss. And yeah, we wanted to have something different, so we are not caught in speed ties. But funnily enough, I still speed tied with a lot of Incins as well because they tried to speed creep their the other Incins, and yeah, that was funny. Obviously not super cool if you realize that in game 3.
Oh yeah, Amoonguss isn't like the spread-wise, it isn't anything special, but behind Aurora Whale and with Intimidates and Parting Shots, it survives pretty much anything.
Yeah.
It's, like really busted. It came in so clutch so often, surviving in the red and getting off spores. And I think the special defense is so it survives 2 water spouts in rain from Mystic Water Kyogre. Yeah, I think we did not invest into defense because like we have the double Intimidate and Veil, so we didn't feel like it was necessary.
Yeah, like Clear Smog didn't come into play a lot of times for me, so I could definitely see that changing to... Like I've seen some Lapras and Zacian teams that, who had Pollen Puff, and I think Pollen Puff would be a really good upgrade for this team because like I rarely clicked Clear Smog. We initially had Clear Smog to get rid of boosts, like for example Xerneas, or if our opponents go for a Source Dance with Landorus, or with other mons such as Groudon. But I think in the finals, you adjusted pretty well with Amoonguss. Like you wanted to Clear Smog the opposing Kyogre and get rid of its speed boost, but your opponent didn't let that happen. I don't know if they were seeing that or if they just occasionally protected Kyogre, but I think that was a really good play on your end. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Yeah, I think Clear Smog was fine for this tournament because like we were trying to cover pretty much anything because it was the first tournament and anything could have happened. So maybe some people were building the strongest Xerneas team and nobody knew, and then they would come around with Xerneas and we would have no answer against that except for Zacian. So Clear Smog was like a good safety net to have, but obviously that didn't happen. So yeah, I can see Pollen Puff being the better move.
I didn't face a single Xerneas.
Yeah, neither
that
did
is
I.
Crazy. Like the thing is, we had those 4, and then we were trying to come up with the last 2 members of the team because like I felt like those 4 were also the Pokemon that I brought the most. Maybe Landorus too, if I couldn't bring Lapras. But like those 4 were the main part of the team, and then we tried to find some fillers who had a good Sun matchup, especially against Venusaur with Sleep Powder. Because like Venusaur is able to Sleep Powder our Lapras, our Zacian, our Incin, and Amoonguss doesn't do much because obviously it's a grass type, so Rage Powder doesn't work. Yeah, we wanted something against Groudon too because, as you can see, Groudon is still super good against Zacian, against Incin, and against Lapras as well because Lapras doesn't hit too hard because it's not Life Orb, and once the Groudon maxes it and its weakness policy, there is no stopping. So we come up with this Landorus, or you come up with this Landorus. I think you just tried it, you just glued it on the team and it worked wonders. Obviously the Lumberry is for the Venu matchup, and I think Lumberry was so clutch for me during this tournament. Like against so many Amoonguss, fast Will-O-Wisp. Like I faced Talonflame with Will-O-Wisp in top 8. I faced a lot of Spectre that were running Will-O-Wisp. I faced Instance with Will-O-Wisp. Obviously opposing Amoonguss with Spore, so you could just freely set up in front of them and not care what they have to say or do.
Yeah, it was definitely a good item to have. I'm gonna be honest, it didn't activate a single time for me in the entire tournament. Yeah, in one round I played against Yuri, who had Venusaur Groudon, and I could lead Landorus Incineroar without too much problems because I knew I had the Lumberry. So yeah, it was still a good item to have.
The thing is, we have to consider that this tournament was an open team list tournament, right? So even if your opponent has Will-O-Wisp and they see that you have Lumberry, so they won't go for Will-O-Wisp as well or anything else. That is probably part of the reason it didn't activate for you as many times as you would have liked. But yeah, like spread-wise, I think we just wanted to make this Landorus super bulky. I think we wanted to survive G-Max Wildfire from Zard in Sun, from Life of Zard.
Yes.
I think Lapras doesn't take it. Even if Lapras takes it, it just goes down to the next Wildfire probably. Zacian gets destroyed. Incin gets destroyed by Maxquake. Amoonguss gets destroyed. And like we only had Landorus for this matchup. And I didn't face a single Charizard, I think. But we knew we had something against it.
Yeah, that was important because I thought we would need something that could KO back. So yeah, surviving that was important. And other than that, I think the speed is enough to outspeed Zacian and Calyrex Ghost Rider at +1. And yeah, the remaining 36 EVs just went into the attack.
Like, I have to be honest, we didn't face Zards, which would justify this much bulk, but like I didn't face a single Zard. And sometimes when I had the chance to Earthquake in Incin at neutral or Koko, I didn't KO them. Because like we're not running a lot of attack, which was a little bit shocking to me because I didn't realize how weak Landorus can be without attack investment. But like normally you used to play with max attack, max speed, sometimes even adamant, and then it does amazing amount of damage, right? But like this one was super bulky, but I think if you can dodge all the Charizards, you should play it probably a little bit more offensive.
Yeah, definitely. Like Swordsman was a thing which helped with that issue, but yeah, you can't always set up sword stands.
Exactly.
And yeah, I agree with what you said. Maybe next time around, I would look for another Charizard answer, maybe at the last slot.
Like fun fact, like before the tournament, I think it was like only 30 minutes left. I asked Faiz, dude, what is Koko doing on our team? What is this Pokemon doing here? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. Let's just go with it. And here it is. My least broad Pokemon in the entire tournament. Guys, don't play this Pokemon. I have to be honest, in my top 16 match, it was a big reason why I won that, because that was Tornadus, Kyogre, Incin, Amoonguss, Kartana, and Landorus. And with Koko, I could just Nature's Madness everything, and then Zacian took care of everything else because everything was in Zacian range. It was good there, but other than that, like whenever I could bring Koko, I was like, why would I not bring Landorus here? Why would I not bring Incin here? Why would I not bring Lapras here, for example? Like we didn't want it to hit hard at all. We just wanted it to survive. I think Water Spout from Kyogre in Rain, from Modest Mystic Water. Obviously faster than our Zacian, so we could do cool combinations like Nature's Madness into Behemoth Blade, for example, which actually worked out once for me, which was cool. Yeah, Electroweb to get speed control, Volt Switch to pivot around with Double Intimidate, or even Amoonguss, because I don't think there is a move that hits Tapu Koko super effectively and hits Amoonguss super effectively as well. Like Volt Switch was cool in theory, but it just didn't come in play for me in practice.
Like in hindsight, I feel like this slot was not offensive enough. So yeah, maybe something like Regieleki would have been better. I only brought Koko like in 4 games total, I think, and 2 of them I lost. So yeah, no, don't use Koko.
Yeah, don't use Koko, guys. We talked about having Wild Charge to hit Kyogre hard in the late game, but yeah, Dazzling Gleam was still, I think, needed because like Urshifu was for a long time the #1 used Pokemon, and I feel like a hyper offensive team with Urshifu would be able to probably deal good damage to our team. Obviously we have Zacian, but we don't have a fairy move, so Behemoth Blade is probably not KOing it. Sacred Sword is also not KOing it if we are at neutral. And yeah, we just wanted to have something against Urshifu, which was the #1 used Pokemon for, I don't know, 3 months. So yeah, I don't blame us for using Dazzling Gleam, but obviously Wild Charge would have probably won us the tournament as well, because like I only faced Urshifu once.
I faced it twice, and I didn't bring Koko either time.
Yeah, same here. Like I was like, yeah, I have Double Intimidate, I have Redirection, in Zacian I should be fine. So yeah, this was the team. Let's go into in-game. Here's the rental, guys. Feel free to use it. As we said, if you keep finding yourself in bad situations, you could remove Koko, because that's what I would do if I had to play this team at another tournament. Probably Pollen Puff on Amoonguss, which would be really good. Maybe faster Zacian. Like there is a lot of options, or there are a lot of options, and like we didn't know anything about the format yet when we jumped into the tournament. We just knew that Kyogre is gonna be big, like Groudon, Venu is gonna be big, and we counted for that. But I think with that tournament we got so much information, valuable information. Like for me, like if I have to play another tournament, I know exactly what I have to do, and this was a really good tournament to kind of determine how the format is gonna not even evolve, like how it's gonna start. But hey guys, Faiz, thank you so much. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, thanks for building the team with me. Thanks for having me here on your channel. Everyone subscribe to this channel.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Follow him and subscribe to his Twitch as well.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for tuning in. As Faiz said, please subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot. And see you guys next time. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.